Hey there, so I'm going to share a little bit about Thieves, why Thieves Essential Oil Blend is powerful. People always say it's great for immune health, it's great for cleaning all the things, you got to have it. Um, Everyone has heard of Thieves, I think, by now, pretty much. And we want to know why. Why is it good for us? What is the reasoning behind it? And that's kind of where I come from on everything. If someone tells me this is good for this, or you should use this for this, then I naturally say, why? Like a toddler. I need to know why something is useful, why it is effective. I like to understand the reasoning behind using something. I don't like to just spend money on something to spend money. I want to know that what I'm using is actually going to do what it says it's going to do. So, that being said, being an avid essential oil user now for a little over 7 years, I got started because of my son's asthma and eczema, all of his allergy issues that he had been having about 4 months old is when they started, but around the age of 3, we had him allergy tested, and then it was just on and on from there. It took me a pretty good while, about probably a little over a year, and between a year and 3 years of using essential oils, I had our entire house swapped out. I had studied chemicals and how they affected people with allergies, how they affected people with asthma specifically, and replaced or removed everything in our household that was causing my son's skin and lung issues to flare up, and potentially being a direct cause of some of the issues he was having. So, in 3 years' time of doing that, there was no way that I was going to bring something toxic into my house, right? I think if you're a mom and you have fixed a problem for your kid, that there's no way that you are going to knowingly allow something to negate the work that you've done. So that's kind of the groundwork for my personal story with Thieves. Thieves isn't my favorite smell. It's not my favorite oil to diffuse. I never choose it first. I usually only use Thieves oil if somebody is quote unquote sick or experiencing some sort of, symptom or something. And then, of course, I use all of the Thieves cleaning products, and you're going to find out why I use all of them in just a second. But I do not choose Thieves first. I'm not a fan of the smell of cinnamon or clove and really eucalyptus, and all three of those oils are in the Thieves blend. So it's not one that I go to first to wear as a scent. I don't use it for, freshening the air. It's not my first choice. And so if I'm going to use it and use it in a large amount, obviously I have a specific purpose for it, okay? And so Young Living, everything is made for purpose, not profit. So let's talk a little bit more about Thieves oil. So Thieves oil blend has 5 oils in it. So I'm going to give you the groundwork for what Thieves is, because the entire line of Thieves products that you're going to learn more about is made around this blend of oils. And so the 5 oils in the Thieves oil blend are clove, lemon, eucalyptus, rosemary, and cinnamon bark. Okay, those 5 oils. Clove is nature's richest source of the chemical constituent eugenol. Eugenol, E-U-G-E-N-O-L. It is the highest scoring single ingredient tested for its antioxidant capacity on the ORAC scale. That's fancy science talk for it's very powerful at killing some things. Period. And we'll leave it at that. Clove is also known for its immune enhancing properties. Also, if you know anything about history and medicine and anything about chemical constituents, clove oil has been and still is heavily in use in the dental industry for pain and inflammation and for killing certain things in the mouth. So clove is a really powerful oil. Lemon is the next one we're going to talk about. It has 68% D-limonene. Now, D-limonene is a chemical constituent. You can look that up. You can look at all the health benefits. You can go on PubChem and all of these different sites and look at different studies using these chemicals and these specific essential oils. The info is out there if you want to see it. I think a lot of people blindly say, well, what's an oil going to do if I rub an oil on my skin? Or what's an oil going to do if I diffuse it into the air? Well, there's a reason people do it. A lot of people do it blindly just because they think something smells good or someone told them to do it, so they just do it blindly. But there's a lot of us that have the kind of brain that wants to know, why am I doing this? What is it doing? What is its purpose? And so you can find those purposes behind essential oils if you look at some of these studies. So 68% D-limonene is lemon oil. It's a powerful antioxidant known for its ability to act as a natural solvent and cleanser. So very surface level elementary, it'll take sticky stuff off of things. It cuts through grease. It removes paint and stain from your hands. It cuts through things. It is a natural solvent. So solvent can be a very harsh word. If you know anything about chemical cleaners and solvents, you know that they can be extremely harsh, extremely damaging to the skin, to the mucous membranes, to the lungs, to the brain. So if you've got a natural solvent that not only is effective, but also has health supporting properties, then you have something pretty special. So lemon is a super cheap oil, and it is literally, I have lots of favorite oils, but honestly, I probably use more lemon oil than any other oil in my life. Love the smell, love the benefits, love the effects, love the multi-purpose uses of lemon oil. So many different things, emotional support, and just, we could talk all night long about just lemon oil. So natural solvent and cleanser, completely natural. Cinnamon bark is high in antioxidants. Notice the word antioxidant keeps coming up. That's a good word. That is a very good word when we're talking about health and wellness. Cinnamon bark has a reputation for relieving discomfort during the winter season. That is compliant foo-foo talk for in the sick seasons and all the sick seasons that we talk about, like cold and flu season, all these different seasons that we experience. Cinnamon bark is very powerful. It's very immune boosting and benefiting. It also supports the digestive system as well as the immune system. One of the most versatile of eucalyptus oils, the one included in the Thieves blend, is Eucalyptus radiata. It has many health promoting properties. This powerful oil contains eucalyptol as one of its major elements, which in laboratory tests has been reported as being effective against bacteria in topical applications. So that is eucalyptus oil. So all these plants that God made, they have all of these properties. And what we do as humans is we think sometimes we're smarter than God, so we go into a science lab and we decide to make something that looks like and acts like something that God already made and gave to us freely. But then we can patent it and say, look what we made, and we can make all this money off of it. And so that's what you see in the pharmaceutical industry, and that's what you see in the cleaning industry. God gave us everything we needed for health, for cleaning, for well-being, for healing, all of those things. That's just my personal opinion. But I got that opinion from the Bible, so you can read more about essential oils in the Bible too, actually. Rosemary is the fifth oil in the Thieves blend. This is naturally energizing. Rosemary is very mentally and physically stimulating. It actually helps with energy. So when you're cleaning your house and you're hanging out and you're sleepy, you're trying to read or listen to a lecture, I'm talking to myself here. I don't know if everybody reads and listens to lectures all the time. But if you're needing more mental energy, if you're studying for a test, if you're at work at your desk, rosemary is a great oil for energizing and mental stimulation. It may be beneficial for helping restore mental alertness when experiencing fatigue. Basically, I just said all that in my own words. So that is the blend of Thieves oil. Now, like I said, it's not my favorite smell, so it's not one that I choose. But I do use an awful lot of Thieves in my house. We have the Thieves roll-on. We'll apply that to the bottoms of our feet, the throat, if our throat is sore. We will diffuse it if there's something going around or someone is feeling kind of under the weather. We'll diffuse Thieves. So my personal story with Thieves, this is what I get asked to talk about a lot. I taught a class back in the fall of 2017 on remediating after flooding with only Thieves oil and Thieves cleaner. And so I want to tell you guys a little bit about that. I'm going to do it a little differently than I have in the past. In the past, I just kind of blindly told the story of what I did and how I did it. But this right here is a packet of information that I had printed out back in 2017. I learned about Dr. Edward Close from Sarah Harnish. She is from upstate New York. If you've been with Young Living for a few years, you may have heard about Sarah. She does a lot of teaching and training, and she had pipes burst in her house several years back, and she found Dr. Close's research. So, you know, nothing new under the sun, and people find things out and figure things out, and then they share that information. So I always like to give Sarah a shout out, because if she hadn't shared about this, I may not have found it. And so I'm sharing it with you, so hopefully it can help you and or other people now that you'll have the information too. So Dr. Edward Close, he has a book called The Natural Mold Prescription, I think is the name of the book. I don't want to tell you wrong, because you can find this book. Let me just double check really quick. Nature's Mold Prescription, I think is the name. Yeah, Nature's Mold Prescription, the non-toxic solution to toxic mold, a breakthrough discovery, by Edward R. Close, PhD, and Jacqueline Close. So we'll talk a little bit more about that book and some of the information from it in a second. But what Dr. Close found is that thieves' oil actually eliminates mold. So there are certain things that can kill mold. And by kill it, that means you stop it. You stop it from growing. When you kill something, it can't replicate. It can no longer grow. It can no longer spread, right? And so bleach can kill mold. Vinegar can kill mold. There are lots of toxic, extremely toxic fungicides that can kill mold. But what we have, especially for someone with allergies or health issues, or just in an environment where the mold level is extremely high, you have mold spores. It doesn't do anything to get rid of the spores. You can clean, you can remediate, you can kill. But if there are dead spores even left behind, live or dead mold spores can cause pretty severe health issues for a certain population of people. What Thieves does, it does not kill mold actually. Thieves Oil Blend doesn't kill mold. It eliminates it by digesting it. So you can see it happen under a microscope. The molecules in the essential oils in Thieves Blend actually eat and digest mold spores, live or dead. So think about that. If you are completely eliminating something, removing it, totally annihilating it, then it cannot cause any more problems. So bleach does not penetrate porous surfaces. So you can kill bleach on sheetrock. You can kill bleach on porous surfaces like wood on the surface. But it does not kill the root, because it does not go inside the substance and kill the root. So Thieves Oil actually digests mold. It's an oil, and so porous surfaces will soak up oils, and you can actually get to the root of the mold that way. It digests mold spores. It does not leave behind dead mold spores, which are allergens. So live or dead mold spores will affect people with allergies and cause negative health effects. Bleach will leave mold roots in the wood, which means it will grow back. And let me know if you have ever cleaned mold off of a surface before, completely gone, looks completely clean and brand new, only to have the mold completely resurface in a few months. What does that mean? Because I've actually done that in years past. We had blowing rain in a hurricane here years and years ago. This was before I used oils, and I used bleach to clean the mold growing off the surfaces. I thought, okay, the moisture is removed. We have eliminated it. I have killed it on the surface. It's not going to come back. It comes back because inside that sheetrock, there are mold roots that regrow. And so if you've got even just a humid environment, like up in our attic, it's humid. It doesn't necessarily have to be wet, but it's humid. And so any level of moisture, if you've got live mold spores, mold is going to grow. So you want to eliminate every spore, even the dead ones, and get to the root of the mold. Thieves does not contain any hazardous materials. So that means the EPA does not have to oversee Thieves Cleaner. If it contained hazardous materials, it would have to be EPA approved as a mold remediation product or as a cleaner, period. And so a lot of people are like, well, how come the EPA doesn't have anything to say about Thieves Cleaner? Like, where can we get information on if this is actually good because the EPA approves it? Keep in mind that EPA or FDA approval doesn't always mean that something is safe. It means they've approved it for the use that it's intended for. And so there may be warnings, even black label warnings and toxic warnings, and, don't get in your eyes, don't get it on your skin, don't breathe it in, wear a mask, wear gloves, and so wear goggles. So if you've got those kind of warnings on products, do you think maybe it could have some negative health effects, both short-term and long-term? The answer is yes, it can. So Thieves does not contain any hazardous chemicals, so it does not require EPA oversight. So you're not going to see where the FDA and the EPA have approved Thieves for the use of mold remediation. And we're going to talk more about that. Well, how can we know that it's actually effective? These can treat surfaces, wiping on surfaces. It can treat the air. It actually can treat the air. So diffuse the Thieves into the air. It kills mold spores, mold spores in the air as well as on surfaces. It also eliminates odors. Essential oils are great for that. So when our house flooded, I saw Sarah Harnish's information. I listened to her teach about it. I went myself and found Dr. Close's research. I found his book, and I found all of his research, and I found all of his case studies, and I read all of that information. And so what I did was use knowledge and discernment to say, I am not going to use a toxic fungicide in my house. Now that our house is flooded, we had exactly 2 foot of water throughout this house, and I was not about to cause my son's allergies to flare back up with either not removing the mold adequately, because mold could give him serious problems, or cleaning the mold completely and effectively with toxic chemicals that also cause problems. We do know that chlorine causes severe asthma attacks in my son. So overchlorinated pools, using bleach continuously, those things build up in the body, and it can be an acute poisoning, chlorine poisoning, or it can be a chronic thing where it's building up in the tissues, it's bioaccumulated in the body, and you're going to see a result. And you're like, what's causing this? I have no idea. Well, things accumulate in the body. And so that's really important to know if you are trying to improve health conditions or avoid exacerbating a health condition or, flaring up asthma or eczema or whatever. Okay, so going a little bit long here, but I wanted to tell you, I found a company, Baxter Group. They are a mold remediation company, and I found this company back in 2017. I read all kinds of information on their website, and this is their statement on their remediation practices. I'm going to hit some highlights that I actually highlighted here in this information, so I'm just going to go through these notes really quick for you and talk about a couple more points, and then I'll be done. So why would a company want to veer away from a protocol that has been proven to be highly successful? Baxter Remediation Group used chemical fungicides for years to remediate, to do mold remediation in flooded properties. So proper remediation practices, including cleaning the mold with antimicrobial disinfectants and biocides, works to eliminate mold and mold spores. However, residuals of VOCs, this is volatile organic compounds, may be left behind by these products. So VOCs are emitted by many products like paint, strippers, pesticides, building materials, furnishings, and cleaning products. VOCs can be released while the cleaning products are being used and even while they are being stored in their containers. In addition, elevated concentrations can persist in the air long after a cleaning project is complete. Okay, so these VOCs that are emitted as gases from a variety of chemicals may cause short-term or long-term health effects. The health effects and symptoms associated with exposure to harmful VOCs include eye, nose, and throat irritation, allergic skin reaction, headaches, loss of coordination, nausea, dizziness, fatigue, liver damage, kidney damage, damage to the central nervous system, and even cancer. So this is a buildup of these toxins in the system. They can cause widespread inflammation in the body and cause certain conditions to set up shop in the body and then grow into additional conditions all the way up to cancer. So this depends obviously on the level of exposure, the length of exposure, and the individual's susceptibility to these chemicals. We all have a certain level of susceptibility. We all have a threshold for chemicals. Our bodies are either very good at detoxifying, or we have a pre-existing condition, or we're older, or we're too young. It depends on the health of your body, how well your body's going to be at clearing these toxins out, and how long they hang around in the tissues. So the exposure to mold may also cause similar health effects. So you've got, like I said, either the mold could have caused problems for colt or the fungicides. Mold produces allergens causing allergic reactions, which in turn produce irritants or toxins called mycotoxins. These are potentially toxic substances as well. So not only are the mold spores themselves going to cause allergic reactions, but fungus in the body produces mycotoxins, which are toxins from mold and fungus. So therefore, inhaling or touching mold or mold spores can cause allergic reactions such as hay fever symptoms, sneezing, runny nose, red eyes, and skin rashes. Allergic reactions can be immediate or delayed. Mold exposure can irritate the eyes, skin, nose, throat, and lungs. Research about mold and its health effects is ongoing. So either dead or alive mold spores can produce these mycotoxins. Live spores can produce them as well as dead spores. So twofold problem there with dead or alive mold spores. A powerful accomplishment would be to be able to cure a home of mold contamination without leaving behind harmful VOCs that can potentially cause other health issues that are the same or worse as those caused by mold. So literally, what we hear said a lot today is sometimes the cure is worse than the disease. And it can be for some people with mold remediation. Okay, so Baxter Group's remediation process, they've got it all lined out here, what they do with their remediation process. They decided to see if they could find things that were non-toxic or less toxic to remediate. So everything from simply using water to strong disinfectants and biocides have been discussed throughout remediation history, with no specific product being recommended by any regulatory agency. So no agency specifically recommends one thing over the other. So you're basically at the mercy of a company that you use to remediate, or just a product that you buy off the shelf saying this kills mold, let's go with it, right? And having no idea what it's going to cause in the long run. Okay, so I told you about Thieves Oil Blend. So that's what the Thieves Cleaner is built around. So the entire line of Thieves products is built around this Thieves Oil Blend. The household cleaner, unlike toxic chemical-based cleaning agents, is an all-purpose cleaner made of plant-based ingredients and uses a biodegradable formula. It doesn't hang around in the environment. It is highly concentrated and can be used to clean laundry, dishes, floors, counters, carpets, upholstery, and more. I will tell you, ask me what I clean with Thieves. There's nothing in my house, inside and out, or in my vehicle that I don't clean with Thieves, period. Every surface. Diffusing Thieves Blend is a safe and simple means of filling your home with therapeutic benefits. Many forms of bacteria and mold spores linked to common ailments can travel through the air. Diffusing Thieves adds an extra layer of protection by purifying the air while adding an uplifting scent to your home. Okay, so going back to Dr. Close's book, I'm getting close to the end here. Dr. Close reported that there are residual benefits to the use of Thieves. So not only is it effective at digesting mold spores live and dead, there are residual benefits. What does that mean, residual? It means it hangs around even after you've used it. It's something that continues to happen after you've already put it away. So residual benefits of Thieves Blend. So there's residual negative effects from using chemical solvents and cleaners and fungicides. There are residual benefits, right, to using Thieves. The disinfecting power continues to work after the product has been used. Nature's Mold Prescription, Dr. Close's book, had several case studies and lots of information in there. So I'm going to read a couple of things there. The field tests conducted by Dr. Close indicate that Thieves is a strong antifungal agent with powerful inhibitory effects on the most common and most hazardous toxic mold found in buildings. More than that, the test showed that the mold spores, both living and dead, were actually removed from the air. This was one of the most surprising results of the test and was borne out in all case studies completed. Laboratory research studies are good because they are performed under controlled circumstances where the relevant physical and chemical parameters can be carefully measured and recorded. These controlled variables can either be eliminated or minimized. Field studies, on the other hand, which is what Dr. Close carried out, and Baxter Group also carried out multiple case studies, field studies. Field studies, if carefully executed, yield even more valuable information because they test the effectiveness of a treatment under real-world conditions. Yes, it's good to have controlled experiments, but real-world conditions, these are personal testimonies. These are seeing the case studies carried out, or seeing the scientific evidence carried out in real life. So common objections to the use of fungicides. So what most people use to remediate mold with. Dead spores still cause allergic reactions. Most fungicides are toxic to humans, plants, and animals. And the effects of fungicides wear off quickly. All of these objections are overcome with the use of Thieves Oil Blend. Both dead and live spores are removed from surfaces and the air. Thieves is non-toxic and reported to support health and wellness. This blend is approved by the FDA for human consumption as well, so you can take it internally. Finally, diffusing thieves is shown to have lasting residual effects. So the case studies that Baxter Group Inc. completed, so not only did Dr. Close carry out case studies, but so did Baxter Group. I believe Baxter Group is in Pennsylvania. I didn't double check that. This was several years ago that I got this information. But I believe they are based out of Pennsylvania. The Baxter Group completed their own case studies as well. The only difference between these projects and the projects previously completed by Baxter Group are that Thieves Household Cleaner and Diffusing Thieves Oil Blend was used in place of antimicrobial and antifungal disinfectants and biocides. So they did everything the way they would normally do it to remediate a building from flooding, except they replaced the toxic fungicides and biocides with Thieves Oil Blend and Thieves Household Cleaner. That's the only thing that changed in their case studies. And so in this, we've got multiple, the rest of this packet is case studies carried out by Baxter Group. So this was, this is third party and fourth party information. This is going off of a PhD who did some laboratory studies, who did some real world case studies, and then this remediation company who actually put that information to use in their work, in what they do every single day. They are an established company. Baxter Group has been around since 1989, and they started as an asbestos abatement company, and then they got into mold remediation. So I just wanted to tell you guys that my personal story with Thieves Oil and Thieves Cleaner, when people ask me, what should I do if my house floods? Is Thieves Cleaner really effective at cleaning? I won't say killing things because it actually digests things. So when people ask me, is it effective? Absolutely. And I have this personal testimony where, a kid with severe asthma and severe skin allergies, we completely got him good. Then our house flooded and we had to do something about the mold, and we had to do it in a non-toxic way. And so now we are 2021. This was in the fall of 2017. This kid, the only asthma attack he's had in 7 years is getting in an over-chlorinated indoor pool. Against my better judgment, I let him do it, and worst asthma attack of his life. Other than that, that's it. Skin issues completely eradicated since we've been non-toxic and been using oils in place of other toxic products and things. So that's my story with Thieves. That's my personal story with using Thieves, with a little science background to it and some case study information. If you want that, I can share the links with you to Dr. Close's book, as well as his research, as well as Baxter Group's research and case studies. So I hope this information is helpful to you. I pray that it blesses you. And get your house non-toxic. Get the junk products out and live a healthier life with plant-based products and the oils that God gave us for our health and wellness. And for cleaning. Have a great night.